Hello everyone, and today in this video lesson I will show you some interesting opening repertoire, how with white you can play against Philidor Defense. Philidor Defense is opening which start with this move c4, e5, knight f3, and black played d6. Black protect the pawn e5 with a pawn, and this position is interesting. Black usually is making some setup like this one. He put knight to d7, then c6, bishop e7, then knight f6, make castle and put queen to c7. And maybe we can say that this setup is okay, and black doesn't have a lot of space, but he will play rook e8, bishop f8 and something like this, and maybe some moment he will open the position. And for white is not so easy to break this setup. But of course white is also playing something. Now the best move for white is d4. Black protect knight d7 and white is playing bishop c4. And here black has more option how to continue this position. But this position is not so good for black. First, black has to know what is the best move in this position. Here he has to play c6. A very important move, because to make control of the square d5. Why to make control on this square? Because if he continue, for example, to play bishop e7, it's not so good, because d takes e5, then if pawn takes d5, then white has queen d5, and if pawn is on c6, white cannot play queen d5. This is what I told about. And here there is no way to protect f7, maybe only move something like this, but it's not good, because bishop takes and pawn takes, then queen f7, it's checkmate. And there is another option if black want to take with the knight to e5, but white just changed the knight, take, and here white has excellent move, queen h5, double attack on f7 and e5, and black will again lose one pawn. After this, queen e5, knight f6, protect the rook, and then bishop h6 doesn't give castle, and white has pawn more, and this is much better for white. Yes, in this position we said that bishop e7 is not good. And there is another option, some option about knight to f6, but knight f6 also not so good, because d takes e5, and if pawn takes e5, then white can play knight g5, and f7 square is not protected. It's not easy how to continue. We'll lose this pawn, and position is become very bad. And if black take with the knight to e5, then knight e5, d e5, and white has bishop f7. And it doesn't matter if black take or king e7 is playing, white will stay with pawn more. Here this is temporary sacrifice, but bishop b4 will take back the queen, and queen is going to d2, bishop d2, then knight d2, and white has a pawn more in this position, and again it's not so easy what to do. Then we can see that this move like knight f6 also is not so good because d5, and we have one very interesting option, and this is h6. But this move h6 is also not so good because white has some forcing variation, and this is very good variation. White, for example, can continue castle and knight f6, rook e1, bishop e7, knight c3, and this is just easy play, and this is okay. But why to do this if he has forcing to make some trouble to black king? This move is d takes e5, like some previous lines. Also d takes e5 was the best move, and here d takes e5, and white has some bishop sacrifice. Bishop f7 check. King must take this bishop, then knight e5 check. And here it's not so easy, need to analyze maybe deeply, but if you believe me if I say white has very good attack here, and clearly uh, white is better. The best move for for black is king f6, but what's happened if black is going, for example, king e8, then queen h5 check, king e7, queen f7 check, king d6, knight c4, and on move king c6 there is queen d5 checkmate. And for example, also if king goes to e6, queen d5, king e7, queen f7, king here, knight c4, and some line before we saw king c6, queen d5 checkmate, but now we will see if king goes to c5, then queen d5, king b4, a3, king a4, then b3. It's checkmate. We can see that walking with a king in the middle of board with all of pieces on the board, it's very dangerous. But in this position, black, the best move is king f6, and here the best move for white is knight c3. First developed knight, and the white want to play many other moves like queen d4 or queen f3, and it's not easy what black will do. But before, it was some interesting variation in Encyclopedia of Chess Opening long time ago. It was this variation with the queen d4, and they said it was good for white, but on the end black find some way with c5 to save his king. But on c5 white can take knight d7, king e7, queen c5, king d7, queen b5, king e7, knight c3, king f7, and then bishop e3, and we can say that white has 3 pawns against bishop, and this is a full compensation for white. But okay, black has some option to save his game. This is also okay, but we are going to see the best moves for white. And after knight c3, black is really in a big trouble here. Black can play, the best move is king e5. But what else black can do? Black can try maybe with move c5, just to take d4 place, that queen cannot come there. But then white has queen f3, king e5, queen f5, king d6, bishop f4, and then king c6 is a mistake because queen e6 is checkmate. Then he has to play knight e5, queen e5, king c6, and rook d1. And where black queen will go and how to continue, this is really question, and white can take big material or to give soon checkmate. And okay, if we look, c5 is dangerous, then maybe c6 just to take some square, d5 that this knight cannot jump, but then white has queen d4. This is good, and white want to jump with the knight somewhere, maybe knight c6 or knight d7. Black is moving his king, then knight g6, rook h7, queen c4, king f6, attack the knight, and then knight f4. White want to play queen e6 or queen g8, after g5, queen g8, and white is much better. And if we look fruit variation, for example, black can try bishop b4, but then again white is doing queen d4. White want to jump somewhere with his knight from e5 and to give some check. And for example, c5 doesn't go because of queen d6. It's a checkmate. And for example, bishop c3, just pawn takes c3, and now is not so easy where to go with black king. This is a big problem in this variation. Now black king doesn't have good square where to go, but after c5 also it's very bad because of queen d6 checkmate. And we can say that maybe the best move for black is just to accept and to take the knight, but after 8 moves, black king is in the center of board and queen is on the board also. Black has 2 pieces more, knight and bishop. White has 2 pawns against this, and white has attack on the black king. Queen d5, king f6, queen f5, king e7, knight d5. King e8 is not good because queen g6 checkmate. He must go here, then bishop f4, king c6, queen e6, and here is a check. Here, how to continue? For example, if king goes up, it cannot be good because it's just going on a lot of checks with pawns, and this is not only check because in some moment it will be checkmate. King cannot go far away in this position. He has to play bishop d6 to give bishop to change and something like this, and quickly to try to make something good for his king. But it's not easy. Here white has knight b4, and for example, if king c5, then white can play a4 with idea queen d5 or bishop e3, and this is very good for white. and black is doing king b6, then bishop d6. If black takes, then queen d6, and it's not so good for black, but black is doing knight f6, attack the queen. This is discovery attack, but white is doing also discovery attack, give double check, and now black has to play with king. If, for example, king take, then knight d3, and he must take because on king b5 is just a4 is winning. Queen d3, check, then king c6, pawn takes, and after this rook d1, rook c1, and white is better, has clearly advantage, material advantage. And for example, when we go back after bishop c5, black can do something like this, king a5, and then white has excellent move, knight c6. If black continue king b5, then a4, king c5, b4, king b6, a5, king a6, and now there is nice move, knight d4. Check from the queen, but black cannot take because b5 is a checkmate. Then he has to make space for his king, but not enough good because it's nice checkmate on the end. And of course, also taking this knight is not so good because there is a forcing. Everything is going forcing with check, and this is the best way to win the game when everything is with check. Some forcing variation. And here queen b5. And if we look carefully this, then we can say in the position like this, after bishop c4, h6 is also not so good move because d takes c5, d takes c5, bishop f7, king f7, knight e5, king f6, and then knight c3. Of course, you have to know some variation, but maybe you don't, if you play tournament game, maybe you don't need to know, just calculate good and try to attack black king, and I think you will find over the board very strong moves and you can win the game. And okay, here if we go back, I told before that the best move for black is c6, and in this position white usually make castle, but I will show you one very interesting way. It was in one game long time ago, and white won the game very nice. This is a move knight g5. White attack pawn f7, and black has only moved to protect this pawn. This is knight h6, and now white play a4. a4 is good because it stop b5. Black cannot play b5 and take space on queen side. And here black made big blunder. Bishop e7 is a bad move. For example, in my analysis, black should play e takes d4, queen d4, knight e5, bishop e2, bishop e7, attack the knight on g5, and knight f3. We can say that this position is maybe little better for white, but black is still okay. This is it can continue to play with both side has equal chance, and maybe also I can say that knight on h6 is not so good place because on the end of board. But this option maybe was better. I'm sure it has to be better because bishop e7, what was in this game, just lose the game. Here, white to move, white play, and has excellent combination. Bishop sacrifice, bishop f7. Black has to accept, otherwise doesn't have what to do. King f8, then knight e6, check and take the queen. He has to take, and after this knight e6. White knight attack black queen. Black queen has two moves, queen b6 or queen a5. For example, if queen b6, then white can play a5, attack the queen, and queen if goes, for example, queen b5 or queen a6 is similar, then white can play knight c7, attack the king and queen, and will win material. On this move, black can play queen b4 check, c3, and now only free square is queen c4, then knight c7 check, king d8, and b3. And here we can see that black queen is in trap. Black queen doesn't have where to go, and white will win material. And if we go back after knight e6, black can do queen a5, then bishop d2, queen goes to b6, but what is happening? If queen goes to a6, this is not good because knight c7, check and take the queen. Then in this position only move is queen b6, and after a5 only move is queen b2, and after bishop c3 black has to give up the queen, maybe to take queen a1 and to continue this game, but white is much better. It's clearly winning, but after queen b5 white has knight c7, and again after this white has queen more and winning position. I hope you will like this video, and you can try to punish black if somebody play like this with the black pieces. You can try to punish on this way what I show you today. Thank you very much, and see you next time with my next video lesson. Until this, bye bye and have a nice day.